feeling fancy and fun and free. And I'm a little worried about Thanksgiving because today is the 7th. I got to get like on it. You know, like
Yeah.
I haven't come up with a cleaning plan for my house yet. So who knows?
It's gonna happen. Like it's gonna work out no matter what. So,
So, but I gotta say, okay, we're actually live. But like the spiders this year are like beating me. Like I don't know if it's worse or I don't know if I let my mom told me like not to kill spiders, like
okay.
because they eat the insects. And so
Yeah.
you need them. And so I've left them on the outside and I haven't killed any of them. But every time I look somewhere in my house on the inside, there's a spider web. Like, I'm like, I'll let you live.
Well, I know this year there's actually a spider problem. There's these giant spiders that are around all
The black
around,
and yellow ones.
well, yellow ones, yeah.
They
So
get really big. I mean, not that big, but they
they're
get
big, girl. They're big.
okay. That makes me feel better because this year, like, and I felt bad for my Amazon people because they were like all kind of in my like front drop
Oh
off
no.
Amazon package area, and I knocked them down. And so the next day they were back up, and the Amazon lady was just like, "You need to clean these spider webs," and I was like, "I'm trying."
Did.
They work at night. and that's a thing. And that's a thing. So I'm thinking about that because I just looked at one of my plants and it's like a spider web on it. I just looked at you and watered you yesterday. Like when y'all have time? So anyway, all right. So welcome
Hello.
what to our talk today. This is Friday, November the 7th of 2025. I'm so excited. Um, I think I could have been that we've been doing Atlanta sex therapy maybe 3 years now. I gotta go check my math. Well, I think we've been doing it 3 years now, so I'm quite excited.
That's awesome.
Yes, Jessica Renard, are you saying yeah?
Yeah, the live or the practice in total?
The live.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, the
probably.
practice. Yeah, the practice definitely. But so I'm very excited about that. I think I was um another live that I do on Tuesdays makes 3 years in April. And I was like, I started this one before I started that one. So maybe we've hit 3 years. So I just gotta say time flies when you're having fun. So what came up today to this week in practice was a long-term committed couple whose sex life had just fallen off. And they were like, well, we don't know why we're not having sex. And then we looked at it and they had some pretty significant like losses and traumas to their life, like a death, cancer, a pet loss, like all of these things. And so it made, once we looked at it, it made so much sense why sex had fallen off. And so I just wanted to for all regular couples out there who, for the most part, these are regular life things, and yet they're trauma, they can be traumas to your sex life. And so when we looked at it through the lens of your sex life has had several small t traumas, one big T trauma, breast cancer, I would say, is a big D trauma, prostate cancer, big T trauma, cervical cancer, big T trauma, hysterectomy, depending on who you are, small t, big T trauma, could be. And so I want you guys just to look at it through the lens, because I think after I had the conversation with the couple, I think my lens changed a little bit, or I was able to give them language of your sex life you has had some traumas to it, so it makes sense that
Yeah.
we have to be intentional about bringing it back into the relationship.
Mm.
And just like if your leg has a trauma to it and you break your leg, you have to be intentional with rehabbing to get yourself walking again. And so I think people have a disconnect between my sex life is this thing that could need rehab after a trauma. Like we don't think about that. And so that was great new language for me. And so
Mhm.
I wanted to talk about that this week. And just if a couple, because they're just like, we need to re spark our sex life, or reignite our intimacy, and we don't know how we got here. And so for any couple who's feeling like that, I wanted you guys to give us some tips today, and I wanted us to normalize it that yeah, I mean, sometimes to be graphic, sometimes life will kick you in the balls. Like it will. And it can throw your sex life off. So, okay. So jump in, whoever wants to jump in where.
I think the thing that's kind of coming up for me most is anything that causes a disruption in your norm or pattern is could be
Mm,
construed as trauma. Anything
yeah.
that like if we're talking pregnancy, birth of a child,
Mm,
in-laws visiting for a prolonged period of time to where you don't feel like you can have intimacy or you don't feel like you can connect in the same way. Um, I'm currently experiencing some kid drama. So like that causes a lot of stress and added a lot of things to my to-do list that was not planned. And so
hmm
it's now okay.
hmm
I got to get rid of these other things and I've got to
hmm
concentrate on these things. And so, like, my priorities have shifted dramatically, quickly in one day. And so it's just like,
hmm
okay, cool. We got to refigure that. And then once the dust settles, which may take a
hmm
while,
hmm
a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on what's going on. Obviously, with pregnancy or any type of surgery, like I just had my post-surgery checkup, and they said another 2 weeks. So it was like 8 weeks because the internal sutures hadn't dissolved yet. And so they want to make sure everything is okay after hysterectomy. And they, said 8 weeks, no sex. And so like anything like that, anything that breaks up the norm, and then also figuring out if we're
hmm
not able to have penetrative sex, can we still have intimacy in other ways? Like how
hmm
does it shift to accommodate what's going on and still
Yeah.
have connection time?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna jump in right here because I want to talk specifically about kid drama because when I think back over my career, couples that have like gone without sex over 10 years, the common denominator has either been severe health challenges or kid drama. Like I got a
Mm,
kid that needs a lot. And the kid drama could be health stuff or it could be mental health stuff or a combination of the two. And that takes a toll on the relationship. And so if that is you, get support. Like get support. And so I know one of my couples came to see me once a quarter because they had two kids with kid drama. And that is the way they kept their relationship top of mind, is to have an appointment once a quarter just to make sure that they didn't fall off into the abyss and lose the couple relationship. And so whatever that support may look like to you, checking into a hotel once a quarter, one day a month, getting out of the household and just spending that couple time with each other. But like it is a thing. So if you are a kid, because the diagnosis of autism, I think is higher than ever before. I don't have the research on that. I'm just saying what I see. And a lot of people are struggling with their kids in ways that they haven't before. A lot of people are homeschooling like they never have before. And so I feel like when I grew up, it was one kid that got homeschooled, and now I can name multiple parents, like close friends who homeschooled their kids at one time or the other. And so if you are a parent and that is your plight in life, you gotta still put in time for the couple relationship, for sex and sexuality and intimacy. And so you can do it. It's just being intentional, being intentional. So okay, that's my 2 cents. Okay, Amanda, what do you want to jump in and say? You're on mute.
Thank you for that. The intentionality is so important. So I'm glad you mentioned it, Natalie. I'm thinking about kid drama, like medical drama. Also, like we were talking about traumas, like this time of year is traumatic for a lot of people, like the
Yeah.
holidays. I even felt like some anxiety of my own. I was like, oh, the holidays are here. It's time to plan schedules and meals and stuff. Um,
hmm
and so intentionality is so important. I love what you said, Natalie, about, a couple who comes every quarter to check in with you, or, setting aside a half hour every week if possible. Um,
hmm
I'm working with a lot of clients right now who have kids around me and Jessica's kids' age, like teens, young teens.
hmm
Um, that drama is so hard. So like I encourage I was just encouraging a couple this week, like embrace the suck sometimes. Like this is all really hard. This sucks. We can't
Mm.
like we haven't had sex in 3 months. Like mom is visiting, kids are a-holes
Mhm.
this week. Embrace the suck. Like unite around the fact that you're going through something really hard together. Uh,
Yeah.
and make something meaningful out of that. It might be, I had, I recommended a couple recently. They were like so angry just about life. I was like, take a hammer and a coffee mug and go outside, smash it to bits on your like patio. And they did it
Yeah.
together. They had so much fun. Like they felt so much better. So like find ways that are fun, like build new
Mm-hmm.
experiences. That's where we find that intimacy is those like fun and connective experiences.
Oh, embrace the suck.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to write that book. It didn't have to be
I
a
think
big
I
book.
could write it.
I think
Yeah.
you could. I think it would be filled like that. Embrace the suck. Go break a coffee cup together. Like just like 10 ways to embrace the suck.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant idea. Okay, Jessica Addison.
I actually have two comments about resparking and kid drama.
Mm.
I've had a lot of clients when they think of the word or the phrase respark, they want to use the same match they did before. And it's like when you light a match, you can't go back and use that same one. You have to use another one. So I feel like there's a lot of egos and expectations of how things used to be and trying to rewrite things instead of creating a new
Oh.
story. So we need to look at the cards that we have dealt and try to get creative and enthusiastic of what can we do with the time that we have now. And that kind of goes into kind of kid drama. A lot of times I have parents and me myself being a parent, we want to take any time that we aren't dealing with our kids to just decompress. I hear a lot of couples say, hey, we don't have time for intimacy or to connect because we're so drained. Why can't that time of decompression be intimacy? To
Mm-hmm.
where we look forward to decompressing with our partner. I say it's the same thing like if you have something in the refrigerator that you've been thinking about at work and you can't wait to get home to get that treat. Why can't we treat our intimacy and our relationships like that? Something that we're excited to get to because we have an exhausting schedule, because we have kid drama.
Right.
Oh, I want your book title to be Writing the New Story, Writing the New Sex Story, something like that. This
Yeah.
is exciting. That was great because I think, and I think maybe couples need to have a conversation about how we can embrace the suck slash be each other's treat at the end of the day together. Like, what does that look like? I know a lot of women in general, I have heard throughout the years, are like, sex will feel like a chore or being with my partner will feel like a chore and I don't want another chore. And so
Mhm.
let's talk about then what needs to happen for that to be a treat.
Mm,
What needs to happen and giving yourself permission to ask for what you need. And so, what would turn that moment from a chore to a treat? And so, would it be, can we lay silent together? Can we, can you give me a foot rub? Like, what that would feel like a treat where we could recompress together. Because if you can rub my feet, I can listen to you. Like we could do some things. And so, there's partnership in there, but it's being intentional about what that looks like and being able to say out loud like I love you and I want to spend time with you and I chose to marry you and so therefore I'm up for this and this is the way we're going to need to do this for me. This is what would feel supportive to me. This is what needs to happen for me to do that for us to be able to do that. You know, okay. Somebody had their hand up a little bit. Okay, both of y'all. Okay, so let's do Jessica Renard and then Jessica Addison. Okay.
Yeah, and this kind of goes back to what Amanda and Jessica Addison said. And it was kind of funny because I draw oracle cards and tarot cards, and right before all of the kid drama happened, I got the Tower card. And if anybody is familiar with tarot, Tower means sudden, irrevocable change that is outside of your control. But what I think is also really important to notice about the Tower card is it means something better can come from destruction. Is we're going to find something better. We're going to rebuild better. Things are
Yeah.
going to be better. So, like, yes, everything's going to fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what's going to come from it. And so that's what I think is really important to think about our sex life. In maybe it wasn't as spectacular as you thought it was. And
Mm,
shaking it up allows you to reconstruct it in a different way. We can take
yes.
the pieces that we really liked, we can leave the pieces that felt more obligatory. I think a lot of times, couples don't talk ever, and I don't know
Me?
how people are together, but like they don't talk about the things that they like or the things that they don't like. And
Me.
so it's like, oh well, I thought you liked that thing, well I thought you liked that thing, so turns out we both don't like that thing, and we can actually stop doing the thing because
Hmm.
nobody actually really likes it because you haven't talked about it. But like,
Right?
something being torn down means that we've got to talk about it.
Dr. David Lehman, in his book, he says, I think he says something about like 90% of couples don't talk about sex 90% of the time. Like it's a high statistic. And so yeah, so you're right on. Okay, Jessica Addison, I'm coming to you, but I don't want to forget to this real quick. Let me say this real quick. All right, so all of our listeners out there in the world of the internet, Jessica Renard has a Patreon. So let's do a shameless plug right now. How do they find you on Patreon?
Sure, it's JR Sex. So Jessica Renard, dating, sex, and relationship coach. I do card draws and can have one-on-ones with people. And that can be all over, even international, because it's coaching versus being licensed in Georgia. And so, yeah, I put out free resources and do book reviews and all different kinds of things for information. Right now, it's currently concentrating a lot on dating, but then I'm hoping to have a month on each of them.
Okay, I'm excited. I don't know where I saw that, but I saw it. I'm really excited for you. Really proud
Thank
of you.
you.
So, okay. And now, Jessica Addison, you have the floor.
Something that you really said about laying next to each other and just not talking, I think that speaks a lot because I tell a lot of my clients, maybe you guys can just wind down, just lay next to each other, put on your favorite songs, some music, and just don't talk. And something that
Mhm.
Jessica Renard said, something about expectations. I've taught my couples a lot about sensate focus exercise when we focus on our senses, and that way we can focus on being better without pressure. To where we can get in the routine of having check-ins to where we're just sitting at the table and it's like we're just doing it to check off the box of the action, but we're missing the purpose of the goal is to be better connected. So
Mhm.
even if we're not able to sit down for a check-in or to hold hands, I want couples to not fall into the manual thing of we just putting our bodies in place versus putting our hearts and our minds in place of connecting with one another.
Yeah, yeah. And I want people to know it doesn't take a lot.
Mm-mm.
Like it doesn't. And so like a solid 1 minute, 60 seconds of sitting with your partner and saying, let's just deep breathe together. Let's just match our breath for 60 seconds. The holidays are coming up. So pull a partner into a closet, pull a partner into the bathroom, and just say, like, hey, how you doing? I see your mama getting on your nerves. Or whatever. Just those points of connection. And remember, intimacy is really built in small bites over time. And so it's a lot of little moments like that. And so it doesn't take a lot. So okay. All right. Pivoting, if we had to do each of you guys 3 steps for a couple to reignite the passion, what would the 3 steps be? Amanda, you got it first.
All right. So the first I would say, find an activity that you can do together. Um, I love new activities, especially.
Yeah.
That doing stuff, something new together creates neural pathways that like help unite us and over like new shared experiences. So that's one of the first things I recommend for people. I want you to think about sex as play or practice, not performance. So, it is a trial and error sometimes, like getting back to feeling like yourselves if you're trying to reignite where you were. And I also, we've touched a couple times this during this go live about people not talking. And that's
Mm.
true. Like like that statistic, 90% of the people, 90% of the time aren't talking about it. And I want to encourage you guys, like, say something to your partner. If if you feel awkward and you're not talking, they probably feel
Yeah.
awkward too. So name it, don't shame it, and see where you can go, even with a 30-second conversation of like, oh, I miss you, or hey, what's going on with us? Like, really
Yeah.
impactful.
Yeah. Really cool. And I want to say you can say this feels awkward for me to say and say the
Yeah,
thing,
absolutely.
which somehow like what you said. And Brene Brown talks about this. I'm sure she did the research or found the research or something, but like naming the pain, like saying it out loud, like kind of takes it away. So okay. All right, Jessica Renard, what would be your 3 tips?
Definitely talk about it. Like bring like you have to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Um, Setting intentional time, making
Mm-hmm.
sure that time is sacred. We calendar everything in our lives. Intimacy, connection should not be different. That's a date night, like looking at the Gottmans, a date night, a State of the Union, pairings and leavings. Like there's a lot about the magic 6 hours and the 7 principles for making marriage work. And so
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of those things, getting into some of those habits. Um, and then looking for easy win, looking for the low-hanging fruit. We don't need to shoot the moon right when we're getting back on the bike. And it's mixed metaphors, but that's fine. Um, so looking at, laying together, skin to skin contact, holding hands, taking showers together, doing things that feel navigable while we're building up this trust again, while we're building up this vulnerability again. So like easy wins.
Got it. All right, Jessica Addison.
Um, in the midst of communication, I would say check in to see what your partner needs. And it's a simple thing of what do you need right now at the moment. I give my couples the metaphor of when you buy a car, you just don't buy it and don't get an oil change or get the tires rotated. You have to have some type of maintenance.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of couples are doing what they felt like their partner needed 5 years ago, and then they're faulting them of what's wrong because you always wanted this or you always needed this. And then it's like, you don't understand me, you don't know who I am. And it's like, have you told them who you are? So we need to check
Right.
in and tell them, like, what do you need? So in the midst of that, I would say attack intimacy like in team mode. It's too much of we are fighting with the wrong partner and we're fighting the wrong enemy. So if time is it, how can we work together to tackle time together? How can we fill those moments like the 60 seconds that you talked about? So seeing what each other needs, attacking it like a team, and then being enthusiastic. Do you actually want to be here? Or is it all right? It's 5 o'clock. What you want to talk about? It's like, oh,
Mm.
never mind. I'll keep it to myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So see what's going on. Um, See what they need, be enthusiastic, and then, just connect with them.
Yeah. So this old lady told me when I was young and I didn't understand it. She she said 0 to 40, your body takes care of you. And after 40, you gotta start taking care of your body. And I was like, what? Huh? Like and then like about 45, 46. Oh, I get it. Like I get it. Of being intentional about what I'm eating, being intentional about making sure I'm getting exercise, being intentional about doing all of these things so that my body works well. And so I'm gonna say 0 to 2. Your relationship takes care of you. And after 2 years, you gotta start taking care of your relationship. And so you've got to be intentional about the time we be together. You got that you're spending together. You have to be intentional about what you're putting into the relationship. You got to be intentional about how you're showing up to the relationship. And just knowing because and being in a long-term committed relationship is a skill.
Mm.
There are actually books out there to help you build this skill and professionals like ourselves to help you build this skill. But if you could just understand that it is a skill that is not going to happen by accident, like just like your health and your body, you're not going to have a great body at 50 just by accident. Like it's not going to happen. And so being intentional, and that's my 2 cents for today. Okay. All right. Anybody have the last things before we say goodbye to the people on this wonderful Friday?
don't wait too long to say something like to your partner about
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
It's never too late, but sometimes it really is. So
yeah,
like, don't wait
yeah,
too.
yeah. And I think it's never too late. You're right. Actually, I do actually think it can be too late,
It
but
can't be, but
definitely, I don't think it's ever too early. I would much
really
rather a
bad. Yeah,
couple come talk to us when they haven't had sex after 2 months than 2 years, than 20 years. Like I would like help.
definitely.
Like, I mean, can y'all just see that that if a train has been going the wrong direction for 20 years,
Yeah.
that's a lot of work to get it turned back around and on the right track, as opposed to 2 months.
Yeah.
And so couples, and I say that, well, maybe it'll work out with time. Well, oh, we're just having a hard time. Maybe it'll work out with time. I would like that to be, let's get the skills so this doesn't have to happen again. Let's go ahead and let's beef them up. Because if we can earn learn the skills early on and put them in place, then we'll never have to have these long periods. So okay. All right, Jessica Addison, you're looking like quite want to say something else.
Yeah, because to be 100% transparent, I hate when couples say time will heal it, time will heal it. What are you doing with that time? Time is not this imaginary fairy that's going to do the work for you. And
Right.
it's like time, but what are you doing with the time?
Yeah.
You're really suppressing it to where when it gets to the point you can't take it anymore, then you want somebody to help. And then, like you told me earlier in my clinical career, if someone has been dealing with something for 5 years and you just meeting me, you're gonna have to give me half, if not double the time to fix it for you because you've been dealing with this for a long time and this is your first time meeting me. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of things we're gonna have to unpack. And if you can't easily do it with your partner, it's not gonna be that easy to do it with me.
Right. Oh, that's so good. Preach that sermon over and over again. So, okay. All right. Jessica Renard, did you want to say a last thing?
Yeah, just wanted to kind of also like when things fall apart or when we have these things, this is also taking the time to assess and maybe things have changed to where this isn't the relationship for you.
Mm,
Like
Ooh.
being able to understand where the exits are and that you can access them and that if this is no longer serving you, if this is no longer meeting your needs, you can pick something else.
Mm, really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, people. I'm going to end with that. You guys have a fabulous November Friday. It's great weather. I heard we're supposed to have a cold front next week. So go
yeah.
get that sun.